Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living Charlotte. Today, I'm your host, Alan, and we are delighted that you're chosen to be with us today on this super September morning. Whether this is your first time here or if this is your home, we honor your presence in our welcoming, open, and affirmative community. The title for today's talk is the Science of Hope. And I brought a vivid quote today that I would like to share with you. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tunes without the words and never stops at all. One more time, just really let that sink in.
Yes.
Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tunes without the words and never stops at all. And that is by Emily Dickinson. And I invite you to just let those words sink in and to ponder as we listen to the talk today and to the announcements that will follow. And I know that by the end of today, you will know why the caged bird sings and how we can set it free. And another thing that you can do is to check out our website, cslcharlotte.org. You can put in a prayer request, explore everything that we do, and get to know us better. And also you can follow us on YouTube and Facebook. So I invite you to just relax and get settled in as I pass the mic over to our fabulous, radiant Reverend Rosedale Jones.
And thank you so much, Alan. But I have to say, and so it is behind that beautiful quote, and thank you for it. You know, I saw a bird while you were talking, and I said, that's it. If you can see it, you're gonna see that at the end of the talk. If you can see it, you are it. If you can see that bird perching in your mind's eye, you got it. Okay, that's enough of that. Alan, thank you. I love that quote that much. So, welcome everybody to all people everywhere, especially YouTube and here on our virtual channel right now. This is Center for Spiritual Living, Charlotte, the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. Now today, our focus is on the science of hope. But first, we're going to open our Sunday celebration with an affirmative prayer to set the tone. And who else would be better today than to do that than that loving voice of Reverend Sonja Prince. Now, she's been an anchor here for CSL Charlotte for some years, and she comes in and she honors us, and we honor her and we thank her for it. So she's aware of the science of hope today. So let's hear her prayer as Reverend Sonja prays us in. So Sonja, let's pray.
Good morning, everyone. I invite you to join me in consciousness by gently closing your eyes if that's comfortable for you to do so. And we begin this sacred moment aware that there's only but one mind, one divine intelligence that guides, sustains, and expresses through all of life, all of creation. Just like Reverend Rosedale talked about the birds in the sky, the birds that she saw, that divine presence lives, moves, and has its being in it as well as us, all things. It is the mind of love. It is the mind of peace. It is the mind of infinite potential. And today, this divine mind opens us up to a wellspring of knowledge, of hope, of eternal stream of possibilities. There are infinite possibilities for us, beloved, in this beautiful, beautiful world of ours. So as we go through this day and we go through this beautiful service, we know that it is the breath of God that we are breathing. It is the mind of God that we are operating through. And is that hope is that eternal spring of hope that guides us today. And I know that Reverend Rosedale's, her message, her voice, even as she speaks the words of the divine, will be just what we need to hear. So we just bless it and we are grateful for it. We're grateful for everyone who has tuned in this morning, everyone that is here. We know that today is the day that God has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. And we start our day off in spiritual practice, And so I let go, I let God be all that it is in our lives. And so it is.
And so it is. What a prayer. Girl, thank you. Ooh, that was fabulous. I say, like I could say to you, soldier, girl, girl, girl. Go for it. Next on our platform is our reader, and that's Melissa Spiegler, the girl from Tennessee, right? I met her many years ago in California, and now I'm here and she's in Tennessee. So she's now the girl from Tennessee. So I know she's ready for the science of hope because she's ready for today and she's reading today. So with that being said, after Melissa's reading, listen to the song, You're Gonna Be Okay by Brian and Jenn Johnson. So with that, Melissa, make it do what it do.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. The science of hope. And we've got to start that with that sacred spark between now and next. And this is by Reverend Rosedale. There's a quiet moment that comes before change. It's like the hush before dawn or the still before rain. In that space, something deep within us begins to rise. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply says, hold on. Something good is already moving. Hope is not us in a corner biting our nails or waiting for rescue. It's the strong, steady heartbeat that reminds us something good is unfolding right now. Hope dances between what is and what can be. It's the spark that lights up our choices, the quiet yes that whispers, keep moving, the way will open. Faith sees only the finished picture. Hope is the brave artist still brushing color on the canvas, even when the outline isn't clear. Hope is not outside of us. It is the breath of spirit as us. It is alive in every bold thought, every sacred pause, and in every next step. Feel it. The rhythm of possibility, the pulse of creation waiting in every breath. This is the science of hope. It's not a distant dream. It's the power of life unfolding through you right now. And here's a final quote by Reverend Rosedale. Hope is not outside of us. It's the breath of spirit as us, alive in every bold thought, every sacred pause, and every next step. And so it is.
You're going to be okay. Trust me. And matter of fact, trust that hope that's inside of you when we get to talking about it. So let's just start right now with a short centering and relax your eyes by looking into your lap or closing them if you choose. Now let's begin with breath. Not the kind that just fills your lungs, the kind that reminds us that we are spirit in motion. And then slowly release that breath. This song, You're Gonna Be Okay, is a tender reminder that even when an ordeal feels endless, the story is not over. It's about holding on. That's what hope says to you, and that's what she's saying in the song. Hold on. Don't let go. Because faith is finding strength in your hope. When hope feels its weakest, faith finds strength. That's pure science of hope. Because hope isn't pretending that the struggle isn't real. Hope is knowing, oh my goodness, hope is knowing that the struggle is not final. It's that quiet conviction that says, you're the presence breathing new life from the presence back to the presence, and it's in, through, and as us now. It means that what she says exactly in those lyrics, now that you know all of that, you're going to be okay. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and integrate your mind, your body, and your spirit, and take a few breaths more with some ease, and then circle your eyes around your space and embrace the energy of your space and lean into the science of hope. So, as I dive into the science of hope, let's just remember what the first thing Melissa said in that reading, that hope is not us biting our fingernails in fear of waiting for things to happen and going, oh my God, is it going to happen, is it not? Hope is a steady knowing that no matter what, you're going to be okay. Hope is that inhale before faith, because you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't have that hope. Then the faith builds in for you. Faith sees only the outcome. Faith only knows the truth. Faith sees the outcome. Faith says it's already done. Hope says, I'm almost there. Something's happening. It may not see what faith sees, but hope sees. When you only see the outcome of what you're expecting, you have conviction. So don't even think two or three ways. I'm praying for conviction. Don't even do that, because you would not even have it if you didn't pray for it, because you know that prayer is going to do it. So then what are you doing? You're using the science of hope. See, that's faith taking it a step deeper. Hope is a beautiful and essential step on the way to that conviction. It's just taking you to the conviction, so you got to start somewhere on the steps. It's the oneness connection that we have in that conviction, because you know why? If we didn't sit down for that practice, we wouldn't have hope. But if you sit down for practice, you got hope. But God help you if you're not sitting down at least once a day. Yeah. But see, science teaches us, science of mind, it really teaches us that hope is not just optimism. Matter of fact, it's more than optimism. Hope is when you don't believe that spirit is outside of you and that you are it. There's nothing outside of us pulling strings and whispering to us. We're it. One and the other. Oneness connection. So we're not guided through anything outside that's pulling us like puppets on a string. That's the impression I used to get when I was studying for many, many years in a different type of philosophy. But I learned a lot in that philosophy. I won't knock it, because anywhere you pray, you're praying to the same source. But here's my thing. I understand that I'm not guided outside of myself. Please understand that. Stop thinking of spirit as something out there when you say, well, spirit was going to let me, spirit gave me. No. We are the living breath of spirit, which is unseen energy, where your faith comes in. Because you see, faith means believing in the unseen. And see, the thing is this, we know we are it. So when you begin to know you are it, then that means that you have mastered the science of hope. So, we, being the presence, the power, and the pulse of the universe, are always looking forward to that next time we could be in oneness, aren't you? Well, let's put it this way, I am. Our creative channels are open every time we attune to our inner rhythm. So the minute you start those, like in the consciousness meeting the other day, we had two wonderful new ladies that came in there, but she said something about that when she said, I sometimes look out my window and look at the squirrels. She's not even, she knew nothing about science of mind in general, but somehow that power within her told her that, you know, you need to go back to nature if you got to contemplate or if you got to think. See, these channels, they are not fixed paths for, oh yeah, if you do this, this is what happens. They are everything we do, if we will listen, is unfolding expressions of this oneness with spirit. When we sit down with that oneness with spirit, we are looking out the window. We're looking at the deer run across the field. We are in nature. Hope is not wishing for good weather one day or a lucky break. It's not wishful thinking at all. It's spiritual principle. It's a dynamic force. And what does it do? It aligns us. It aligns our thoughts. It aligns our thoughts with all of the unlimited possibilities. These possibilities are totally unlimited. In our philosophy, hope is not waiting for something to change. It's the active engagement of our oneness with the creative power of our minds. Do it, and you have, if you do it, that means you have hope. But doing it doesn't make you have hope. The fact that you have hope and you do it shows you that you move into that conviction of faith. I don't know if you got that one, but it was a mouthful. But at CSL Charlotte, hope is not a distant light, like way, way out there. Like last night, I saw this beautiful moonlight sitting way up there, way up high, and I could see this little column coming down through the sky in my mind. Well, it's not that far off. No, that's not where hope is. Hope is the frequency that we carry. It's in here. It's the vibration that we embody. Hope is the world that we co-create through every one of our breaths. And it is that self-assured yes. When you say, I'll do it, that's yes. When you hear it and you go, but I gotta do that, okay. Just, it'll wait for you. You're never gonna be left out for the rest of your life. But why go through all of those extra years of agony and waiting for stuff to happen when you could be in it? Because see, hope is a living principle. It's a creative force, you know? And the beautiful part about it is every single choice, decision you make to follow that inner voice is like this deep reservoir inside of you. And it's felt, F-E-L-T, it's felt from that vibration from within. I know years ago I faced a decision about everything in my life, my finances, my career, and my overall life, my health, and I simply could not ignore that decision. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. If I had turned away from that decision and said, oh, but I'm fine, like I watch many people do, and then they come back later and say, but you know what, life still isn't working for me. Okay. Because you're not applying. But if I had turned away from from all of the decisions that I had to make to get here today, my life would have looked completely different. And honey, it would be far from better than this. It wouldn't be nowhere near this great. Everyone I know who has been given the chance to change and chose not to is living a life that feels very unsatisfying. Instead of living a life that it could be hopeful. Whether you got everything you wanted or not, but at least live that hopeful life. Because long before I knew anything about science of mind, I found myself retreating, like that young lady said, to nature. One day I was looking out my window and I just paused for a moment. And I remember sitting one evening watching that beautiful sunset. It was pouring all them colors all out into the sky, right? The decision was whether, this was my decision, was whether it was time for me to leave New York yet. I was making that move to California back then. I didn't have all the answers, but I felt something much lighter than fear moving through me. And that's when you better jump on it. If you don't feel enough fear to make you stop, then you better keep it going, because that was hope. It wasn't full-blown faith yet, but it was hope. And it was that quiet, that unshakable knowing that I was going to make this happen. I just did not have all the answers yet. Every time I questioned if an outcome was going to be possible, hope answered. And that wasn't just in that instant. Any single incident that I wanted, or any other journey I was getting ready to walk on, I took every single one of those journeys because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now, if you're never going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, stay back there. But I just wasn't there yet on that faith, the strong faith. But oh boy, I became more resilient when I started paying attention to what was going on, because in order for me to get here, I had to make that decision 25 years ago. Now, my awesome life that I'm living today, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I am doing so much better and always growing. Financially, I'm always growing spiritually, every aspect of my life, my health. It's because I'm continuously training my mind. Back then, no, my mind wasn't trained, but it was trying. It was trying to say, all right, I'm looking for the possibilities. What does that mean? I'm hopeful. That's the science of hope. So in time, a calm reassurance or a calm assurance grew into certainty. And then I started using clear action. And then I discovered unity one day in California. Hope showed up again when I made the decision to start taking classes with unity. See, people think that, well, all I have to do is just go and be a part of church. Well, that's how it used to be back in my Christian days, you know. But being a part of church wasn't moving my life along. Had they had these types of classes that how my life would work for me instead of quoting to me scripture and dogma, why not tell me how my life's going to work? This is where you learn. These are the reason why we take these classes in science of mind is because we are growing and we need that to grow. So when I pop out another class, you better not give me no more reason why you can't be there, especially if you plan on being there. So now here is what happened. When I look back at that evening years ago, that evening showed me that hope was there, and the turning point, that's what that was. That night was one of my many turning points, and it was also proof. Guess what it proved to me? That the power was within me all along. Like in, The Wizard of Oz, you had it all along. So I'm grateful for unity, and I'm grateful for the Science of Mind movements, both. Now, let's talk about the science behind hope. Now, this is psychology. Psychology is a branch of science. So in science, psychology really talks about behavior, right? So there's a guy that I read up on named C.R. Snyder, and he's a psychologist. He described hope with two key elements, and these are just other ways of you getting to the point, but he said agency and pathways are two key elements of hope, okay? So listen to what he thinks. And to what is truth. Agency is that inner drive. It's that thing that says, I can do this thing. Pathways are those creative routes that we create to go. Well, if I make a right here, okay? Pathways, agencies. I can do this, pathways, just so you know. Okay, so now with that being said, these are the things that you discover on your way to your goals, right? Now, when we put the two of them together, we create a self-renewing energy in us that keeps going on and on and on. But let's translate that now into Science of Mind's language. Agency is sacred choice. I'm making a decision and I'm doing that. Pathways are creative channels. I will go this route to get there. Together, they help us rise, adapt to wherever we are, whatever level you end up on, adapt there and keep moving. You don't stay, you don't build a house around it. Snyder called hope a strong part of how we think and act. Now, these actions show that we're not just hoping, we're believing we can. We can plan and we can actually achieve the different desires or goals. I don't always like the word goals because I don't want to be sciencey all the time. And I don't want to be spiritual all the time. I just want to be in between. But goals. Also, research confirms something very, very powerful about hope. And it says that people who cultivate hope enjoy better mental and physical health. You're not stressing, so how could you be forgetting? The reason why people run into dementia issues is because it's a lot of stress and they're not clearing it out. People who cultivate hope actually bounce back after challenges and they live with more resilience. Oh yeah, just that hope, just the idea. In Science of Mind, that research simply echoes exactly what we've been knowing all along. Our consciousness shapes our experience. That's what we've always known. And research also shows that hope improves our mental and physical health. So now, hopeful people, remember this, are more resilient. They solve problems better and they feel better overall. Hope is not just a nice feeling. It's a spiritual resource. It's a mental muscle and a divine frequency that is strengthening us through practice. You got to practice. You don't like practicing, you got to practice, but it's too much work. You got to practice. I have a person that I'm teaching her how to get over her plantar fasciitis, because it's all spiritual. It's a spiritual solution to every sickness you have, but you got to be willing to do the work. But anyway, it took me 6 months to get her to do the things that she needed to do for her feet. But she had the hope because she kept wanting to do it and she kept coming back and she kept trying. See, developing hope starts with remembering that we are connected to this unlimited source of good. We are not separate. We are the current, the electricity, the spark, that thing, that breath that acts as divine intelligence. Hope is not passive. I know you heard it in the reading. It calls us to practice our oneness connection. We affirmed our ability to co-create reality much better just with a simple thread of hope, just a little bit. But if you're totally fearful that you can't get moving, walk up and start to get into that little thread of hope. Because when we practice spiritual mind treatment, aka affirmative prayer, we don't beg, we align. We're not going, oh, please God, please God. That's not what we're saying. We're aligning. We speak the truth into form. Okay? So that if you want this, you got to speak the truth into it. And all of a sudden it forms right in your life. And it's not just like that. It ain't all of a sudden, baby. You got work to do. So it's a couple of things you got to do to get to the results you got to get. See, we declare our oneness, okay? And when we're doing that, when we're speaking in affirmative prayers, we are declaring our oneness, the creative power to the creative power in the universe. And with that done consistently, whoa, hold on, baby. Spiritual practices can't do anything but grow hope. And then once it grows that hope, then you can see it with your faith. So when we declare our desire, and we are saying that I'm ready for it, and we got it all complete in the mind, in our mind, that's the mind, then we open our mind, and now we're in that oneness. Once we get into that oneness, we're vibrating hope, we're vibrating, and now we're strengthening it into what? Faith. And what happens? Boom, there's your positive manifestation in your physical life. But at first it's in the unseen. but you got to have that faith. So speaking words like, I'm thinking about the abundance. All right, good. I'm happy to receive abundance. But yeah, you're just saying it, but you better start feeling that hope. Feeling gets what? The healing. And then you wind up with your actual manifestations. So visioning is another practice that we use here, in not just here, but in spirituality. Visioning and creative imagination. The imagination, right in the third eye, all of this. It sees, it hears, it feels. We use all our senses, and our outcome is boom, right in our lives. Don't use it? Well, you'll sit there. The outcome is there, still in the invisible, but you're not going to bring it out until you actually get in there. Visioning ignites your confidence, boom, to keep on going. That's what's happening. Because now you keep seeing that looks kind of good. I want that. I'd like to live that, And then you get into the mindfulness, which is that silence that quiets that inner chatter when you sit down. And everybody thinks, well, my mind won't be quiet because I can't meditate. Really? Well, how long are you going to say that? Because if you're going to keep saying you can't do it, then guess what happens? You don't get the quieted noise. You just still sit there. It can't happen. Presence. Your presence is the presence that you're speaking of, that you always go, I'm looking to reach the presence, the energy of presence. You are, your presence with it. It allows hope to breathe, even when we're disappointed. If you say I went to pray for something and it didn't show the way you went, so you're slightly disappointed. But you know what? You never stop praying. You never stop praying. See, our practices remind us that hope is an active partnership, shake hands partnership with the infinite, which is never ending, not unlimited, infinite. And it's not idle waiting. Is it going to happen? Am I going to get it? So remember, hope is not a waiting room. It's that spark that sets everything in motion. Okay, so now it's also that handrail right down that staircase. If you're afraid to fall, it's going to boost you into faith, because now it's going to hold you up till you get where you want to go. And all of a sudden, that boom, the faith, you can get to see it. I can just see it. Then I can be it. So we train our mind to focus on successful manifestations, okay? So as we embrace this beautiful dynamic hope and this creative force that we have, we see that spirit is not out there. It is right here, as us, with us. And then we get to vividly visualize our dreams in detail. We had a sleep class, and I loved how I kept, it made me continuously think of my dreams and what's happening, and got me more engaged in how to rekindle that dream tonight. Because I got to get the answer, but you give up too soon. That's not help. That's not the science of hope, right? You just keep going. So we feel joy, we feel all of that. We practice self-compassion. Yes, we do, because we treat ourselves with more kindness. And when we do, especially when things are hard, at the end of the day, we can affirm that worthiness. We can affirm that I am worthy in the middle of any mess you find yourself in. So I remember those times when my body had issues that I had to deal with, from thinking I was having COPD one year to all of these different things that the doctors would diagnose and stuff. None of that stuff stayed with me, because I was not going to let that be the answer, or the end and all. Today, I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my entire life. And I have come through a lot of things, baby. You don't go this long without something going on. Okay, but you gotta see. I didn't know how long it would take for my body to heal. I didn't have the full faith yet in most of these years that things happened. But I had hope. And at least I had enough hope to keep practicing. And hope, guess what it did? It held me. Hope said, keep breathing. Breath is key, baby. You can laugh if you want. You can say, yeah, no, I can't do it, because it's too. Yes, It's not going to be easy. Who said it was going to be easy? But this is what Hope said to me. Keep breathing. I know, but I keep breathing. Keep moving. Oh, but I don't know if I feel like working out today. Keep moving. Okay, keep trusting. Gotta trust the process. But I know, but it's not happening. Keep trusting. You gotta trust the process, Rosedale. Slowly, my mind got it. I told you I had to train my mind, right? My body responded. My spirit remembered. Because my spirit's saying, you always had that health, so I don't even know what you're talking about. And my rhythm, you heard Melissa, the rhythm keeps on coming. That's what I love about being poetic and thinking to myself all this stuff. Because, I like to say these things. Hope is the bridge between this theory we might have and the truth that we embody. It's that sacred pause between planting a seed and watching it bloom, the outcome, right? It's the soil that faith grows in. Yes, it is. Faith is the seed. Did you get that? It's the breath before the leap. It's the whisper before the roar. My great-granddaughter's too cute. Yesterday, she got these dinosaurs and she started trying to scare me with them. Roar, roar. And I thought about that faith being that leap, that breath, just because of watching this child play. You got to look at life as, really, did you hear that what Melissa said, though, coming to think of it? She said, feel it. It's the rhythm of possibility. That's all you got to do is feel it. And then it's that pulse of creation. It's just waiting in every one of our breaths. It's that healing that Horace went through. It's that healing that I went through. And we got to keep doing this, though. We don't just stop there, babes. This is the science of hope I'm talking about. It's not a distant dream. So honor hope as a divine companion of yours. Walk arm in arm with that baby. It's not a crutch. It's a co-creator with you. I challenge you to show up and act as presence in motion from now on in this community. Open your creative channels with every stinking sacred yes or choice that you make. But remember this. We're not waiting to be moved. We are the movement. So put on your gym shoes. Just put them on. Because hope's not out there. Hope's in here. It is us. It is spirit moving through, in, and as us. And it's not guiding us somewhere else. We are the living breath of spirit. We are whatever name you want to give it. We are it. So today, just breathe hope. We are all of that. Hope means that you believe something, or you believe in something or yourself. Think about it. Yeah, I do believe in me somewhat. So it's the breath just before faith. So when you say something like, I believe I can fly, guess what? You already can fly. But now remember what I told you. It's better to be more poetic than it is to be so to the letter. Oh, I must do this logically. You can't do that. In order to be there, you just have to be saying these affirmations, and they have to be right for you. And you got to remember, when you say, I believe I can fly, you're not just rattling off an affirmation. When you say, I believe I can make this, or I believe I can do this, you're not rattling just an affirmation. What you are doing is you are voicing spiritual law. So in order to voice spiritual law, you have to be able to have a little bit of hope, but you can't be so to the letter. You are declaring that no distraction or setback can keep you down. When you believe that oneness in spirit is going to get you hope, and it's going to get you past that conviction, it's going to get you into that faith, then your desire is already shaped and your manifestation is bam in your face. So listen to these lyrics that we're about to hear as affirmations. Oh, but powerful ones. Now let it hit your heart, let it get under your skin, and feel how every note in that song calls the truth alive in you. Listen to the song, I Believe I Can Fly, by Yolanda Adams. So today, we are reminded that there is a science. There's a science of mind. But now we know there's this science of hope. Remember that during this week, because even when life brings pain, we can hold on to what? Hope. The science of hope is the power that keeps lifting us. So when you say to yourself, you, when you hear the word you in your mind, you're really talking to the you within your oneness with spirit, right? That's you. That inner you is the presence you listen to and speak with every single moment of the day. And I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, stop one day and say, who are you talking to? Because you're talking. So when the song that's about to come up says, you say, I'm strong when I think I'm weak, or you say I am held when I keep falling short, you better start to believe. And that's where that hope hears those words and tells you to hold on. So faith, remember, goes farther and it knows you're already there. But you got to have that hope so you can go on to it. So as you listen to this song, listen very carefully to who you are and accept it. And listen to You Say by Laura Daigle. The only thing that matters now is what you think of me. So who are you talking to? You say I am strong when I think I am weak. You say I am held when I keep falling short. It's all about believing with your hope. Just remember that you are what you say you are. So aren't you strong? So so Reverend Soldier, I get so carried away with my music. So Reverend Soldier.
Yes, what a beautiful message. And I took some notes. I took some notes. You're on fire, Rev Rosedale. So for this benediction, I'm just going to repeat some things. We are the living breath of spirit. Keep moving and keep trusting, and that you are the presence. You are the presence. You are the presence. It is within us. It is us. We are moving, breathing the presence of God right here, right now. And we don't beg, we align. We align because it's that frequency that we are. So when we raise our vibration to that frequency, like Reverend Rosedale was saying, we are God expressing. She didn't say it in those terms, but we are God expressing. So the science of hope is active. It is a living, breathing active. It is about engaging. And so we affirm that the power of the mind and the promise of hope holds us through the storms, even when it may look dark. We know that joy comes in the morning. And so when we stay in the presence of God, in the presence of spirit that lives right within us, we can weather any storm. So don't let go. Even in the darkness, the light remains. Everyone is already aligned with spirit. We just have to open up and recognize it. So I bless this moment. I bless this community and all that it does in this world. You are truly a beacon of light in the world, giving practical tools to use in our everyday life. And that is so beautiful. And so I let go and I let God, blessing this community and all that it is. And so it is.
It is, girl, you have lit it up on both ends of the service, girl, from the beginning to the back end. So thank you so much, Reverend Sonia, Timmy P, and Alan, for pushing through. And above all, Melissa, you read that thing. And I know I said I was going to stop doing all that thing, but oh my God, guys, thank you. So now I can be quiet a second and breathe. So, as we wrap up our time together, guys, remember this: hope and faith are only a breath away from each other. That's it. So, as we leave this sacred space, the science of hope is letting your oneness with spirit lift you even higher. So, don't worry if you feel you're only at hope because you can't see down the road the full picture, if you will. But the universe is always responding from the beginning of the journey to that perfect manifestation, because baby, you manifesting 24/7. So until we mate again, keep your mind on love, on the love side, and you can't go wrong. So stand in your hope and roar in faith. That's the science of hope. And so it is.